All right, so fire pit table number 1 assembled. Took a little bit of time just because they're small components. 1, you don't want to lose anything. 2, you don't want to cross thread or over tighten anything, especially when it comes to gas valves, propane valves. But very, very simple to go together. This top has 4 screws in it. There's a couple of screws to attach the lighting bracket to the outside of the table. And that's really it. One other thing to note with these tables, if you are using them with propane, which is the way they come set up from Polywood or from the burner company that they work with, you will have to access. So being that there's 2 of them here, I'm just thinking on how I want to position these doors. 1 from an aesthetic standpoint, and 2 from a functionality standpoint, putting propane cans in, propane tanks in and out. Obviously the easiest way would be both of the doors facing this way. And then I've got the lighting panel on this side, lighting panel here on this side, which this table I can light right from here like this. Because the idea is the tables are going to create one large table with two fire pits. So that's just one additional note there. Make sure you know which way your door is facing. Easier to do that as you're assembling. So you can see here, everything on the fire bowl itself is attached. So this is the regulator and the ignition components that sit inside the table right here. That'll get attached on the inside of this, and then the knob will slide on from the outside for your control. This is the valve attachment that goes to the propane tank, and then these are the components. You've got your knob for the gas flow adjustment, and the 2 screws that holds the bracket on. You've got your ignition, so this unscrews. Will show you how to connect this as well. And then this is if you're converting to natural gas. It's just a different orifice, so this goes in the drawer in case I ever want to do that at some future time. The other thing to note here are these wires. So this is the black and red are your ignition wires for the little battery operated igniter, and then this copper wire here is your thermocoupler, which lets the fire bowl know that there's enough heat there to keep the gas running. It's a safety mechanism, but suffice it to say, you don't want to crimp anything there, you don't want to break anything there. So we're just going to get this bag off, get this safety tag off, and then we'll go ahead and start installing everything. This is the inside of the fire bowl. You want to leave this cardboard in here until after you put the stones in. But the one thing to note, you will see this when the stones are in there, so make sure you're lining it up symmetrically. I know that from the other table I just assembled. So we basically drop all the rough components inside, make sure nothing's going to get caught in the lip of the table. And then this just simply sits in here with gravity. You're not attaching it to anything. So that is that. This is what it looks like on the inside. Everything just sits underneath here. So we're gonna pull this regulator around, and that's going to attach right here on the inside of the table. These wires off to the back here, we want to make sure everything is free, and we can start on unwinding that thermocouple wire and making sure your ignition wires are free as well. These have pre-crimped quick connects on them already, so you don't need any special skills or anything if you want to put this together yourself. All the gas attachments are already done, so they make it nice and easy for you. So this is really the hardest part right here, is just lining up the small screws and making sure that you don't cross thread anything. So, oh, bingo. Okay, now they're both in. And then this is what it looks like from out here, so you can see with the knob off. It's so bright out. So these are the 2 screws that went in. You can see that in the off position, the flat part is facing straight down. Same for the back of this knob. So you just simply sleeve it on. It can only go on one way. Okay, so now ignition. This is a little igniter button. There's no battery in it yet, so just unscrew it. That opens it up to the battery cavity. We're not putting the AAA in yet. There's another screw on here. plastic screw. That's going to come off. This part goes in the cabinet and comes through. This is what will hold it pressure fit on, and then we'll install the battery. So this comes through the back. Hand tight is plenty good for this. That's it. AAA battery. Negative side goes in first. Spring goes right over top. Thread. Hand tight. No need to overdo it. Give it a push. It's working. Back inside here now. We're going to the more delicate stuff. Remove this piece of cardboard as a spacer. Now we've got thermocouple wire. You just want to uncoil it nice and gentle. It's going to screw in right here. So again, thermocouple is the thing that lets the igniter know that we're at temperature and we've got a flame and it's holding, so it can keep gas flowing. Otherwise it'll automatically close the gas valve so you don't have any gas spewing into the air when it's not lit, and you don't have any accident. These threads are delicate. Take your time. Do not cross thread. Hand tight. And then they say you just want to be able to see one thread, so we need to give it a little bit extra. And that's it. You can see there's a thread and a half. Give it a little extra. There it is. So that's done. And this is now nice and tucked out of the way. And then we take our two wires here, and they can go to either terminal. Red and black, and this is the thing that'll create the spark inside the fire bowl. And that's it. So now that's all attached. So we are done. Underneath, this sits here until you have your propane tank ready to go. Propane tank sits in here, obviously. So that's it from the mechanical standpoint. Okay, so this is going to probably be super hard to see in this bright sun. But after you've got everything hooked up, first thing you want to do is double check that you have a spark. So I pull this out. Your spark is going to come right here. This is your thermocouple on the right hand side. So this is the spark on the left. You push the yeah, you can't, you're not going to see that. But anyway, if you're not in direct sun or you're doing this at night, that's where your spark's going to be. So that's what you want to check. Now you leave this in here, and then we'll build the glass surround. Okay, so last part is assembling this glass surround. It's a wind guard. Polywood does have a sticker right on the top of the table that says don't use this without this in place. You can damage the wood, or the Polywood. So it is important that you put it together. Really high quality brackets are super smart. I mean, this thing is solid as could be. Once it's assembled, you can pick this up and move it around. You bring it inside, clean it, whatever you need to do. But basically, you put the bottom bracket on, you put the top bracket on, screw goes through, tighten it down, and then there's some pressure screws on the inside. It holds everything tight. Directions are super easy to follow on this. So just follow it, pressure fit everything together, and then the glass goes right up on a table, and you are done.